What is going on, guys? This is Miyasin. So I don't know if you've been catching up with the metagame as of lately, but very recently, right, in YCS Rio, Tenpai Dragon managed to score 5 tops in the YCS. So top 32, top 16, maybe like 1 top 8. I don't think so though, because the deck was not able to go like super far because, you know, Pure Snake Eyes, Kashtira Snake Eyes, Melodious Snake Eyes, all those decks are just better. Even though they're all fire at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Maybe the Pyro monsters are better than dragons for once in Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, Tenpai Dragon is still a very good deck, and if you really understand how to play this deck to a deeper level, and if you understand things that the average player does not, you might have such a huge advantage that you might be the one that goes to top 4 or finals or even wins everything. And this is what I'm here to do today. Show you guys kind of like the goo with Tenpai Dragon, and probably the best strategy if you really want to kind of optimize your win rate with this deck, because I do believe it is an extremely unexplored deck because everyone's just doing the exact same thing, which is going second, OTK, rinse and repeat. I don't think it's the best way to play this deck, but yeah, before we go into any of the explanations, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. It really motivates me a lot to keep existing. With that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so this is not really a combo, but I'll kind of explain as much as I can with this sequencing, and also I will be going over a deck profile obviously right after. Pydra, they completely changed the name of the cards. It's so annoying. It's a 1 card Hieratic Seal, and your deck is already immune to Droll and Logbird, as long as you're not stupid and you don't search the field spell for no reason. So that's one thing that I keep noticing with players. They keep saying that Tenpai Dragon loses really hard to Ogre. That is just not true. That only is really relevant when you play into Ogre, which usually you don't really have to. You can just search the Kaimin and then use it on the battle phase and then kill your opponent because you're summoning the Zongdora. Or you can use it on main phase, whatever, and then, you know, it doesn't matter, right? This deck doesn't lose to Ogre. Like, the player loses to Ogre, if anything. Ogre just sucks, honestly. But yeah, if you get Droll, you can just chain the Kaimin and then search anyway, so Droll just doesn't do anything at all. And Nibiru doesn't do anything because unless you're trying to go for the Synchro and then revive back a monster and then make Hieratic Seal, you can just make Seal on summon number 3, and that's just, that's all good. But you could also make Hieratic Seal in summon number 5. What are they gonna do? Nibiru you? Sure, that's no problem. Summon the Magnamut from the deck, get a search, and then, or even summon the Fedora from the deck and then make another Hieratic Seal. So it does absolutely nothing. But yeah, now on the opponent's turn, your Hieratic Seal, this is where it gets really interesting because it's not just bounce back one monster and that's it, that's all. You could use this at almost any given moment, and you can do quite a lot with it. Alright, so first things first, if you are bouncing back your opponent's Snake Eye Ash when he's searching with the Populace, something very interesting is going to happen, because in Yu-Gi-Oh, right, mandatory effects always have to be used in Chain Link 1, and then optional effects are right after. It doesn't matter who the turn player is. You know, you can be like the non-turn player, and you will still be in Chain Link 1. Even though turn players usually, they have to trigger their effects before. So in other words, they resolve at the end, which is very stupid. Like, you have the priority to use your cards, but at the same time, it means that you're always the last one to resolve. Yu-Gi-Oh logic sometimes. But you can take advantage of that mechanic because you can play around Ash here on their Hieratic Seal if you use the effect on the Snake Eye Ash, because what's gonna happen is that your Hieratic Seal has to be Chain Link 1, and then your opponent has a choice of either ashing your Hieratic Seal and then negating it, or respond with the Populace. He can't do both. He can't go like Ash negate and then Chain Link 3 Populace summon from the hand. That doesn't work because Populace is a trigger effect and Ash is a quick effect. So trigger effects have to be used first and then quick effects at the end. You can't interrupt like a trigger effect with a quick effect. Really have to choose one or the other. And because of that, even if your opponent had like the Ash for like the hand trap, obviously not the Snake Eye monster, but the hand trap for Hieratic Seal, you can make your opponent kind of just sacrifice like one thing. So either he'll Ash the Hieratic Seal and not summon the Populace, or summon the Populace and the Ash does nothing. And then you summon the Fallen Abaz and you fuse. So I guess this is like the one situation where Ghost Ogre would be pretty good, but it doesn't matter. Ghost Ogre sucks, nobody plays it. Anyways, you can fuse with the Diabellstar or with any monster summoned from the extra deck, and then summon the Lubellion or a Mirror Jade right away. And that's 3 options off of one single Hieratic Seal, which again comes off of one single monster. That's kind of scary because you have a bunch of other cards in your hand. Maybe your Lubellion wasn't necessary because you were able to fuse using like a, I don't know, monster directly summoned from the extra deck, so you don't have to discard like an extra card, so you have more hand traps in your hand. And then you can keep like in hand trapping more cards, like you can Ash the original or Mourner the Populace so he doesn't get the Divine Temple, which would be able to get the Snake Eye Diabellstar, which is an extender. And your Mirror Jade can also banish something, and then you can send a Rinbrum. And if you didn't have to go into Lubellion, then next turn, on your opponent's next turn, you can go Rinbrum effect, revive back the Fallen of Abaz, and then fuse again. Which is very, very disgusting. So, yeah, it's just insane what you can do with one single Hieratic Seal. It definitely is very scary, and you can also, again, like I said, bait the Ogre on your Fallen of Abaz by going Sangan Manor search first. So it doesn't really matter because you almost want to get Ogred here so that at least the Fallen of Abaz resolves. A little bit of food for thought, but that's it for the one and only combo that isn't really a combo. Let's get into the deck list now. Alright, so for the deck profile, this is classic Yu-Gi-Oh! For you right here. 15 freaking hand traps because that is what we can afford to play, as well as 3 Fenrir. And in case you didn't realize it as of yet, this is indeed a going first Tenpai Dragon deck because I do believe that this deck is quite nasty when it goes first. Like, you don't have to just go second when you win the dice roll. If you... The way I see it, right? If you win the dice roll, you should probably still go first because you can still, you know, destroy your opponent. You can go like special summon Fenrir and then make Hieratic Seal, and that's enough sometimes. Or if you got Shifter and you make Hieratic Seal, then your opponent can't even out the seal without like doing nothing. Then you also get like follow-up, which is really scary. You also have like Rivalry, that's insta-win if you go first. And you also still have like your 15 hand traps are going second, and every card is just like good overall. So that's again how I want to visualize it. Like if you lose the dice roll, you don't mind going second, and if you win the dice roll, I mean, you can go first or second. And if you got like a little bit of knowledge on your opponent's deck, then it's gonna help you out even more. But yeah, for the hand traps that I'm playing, I'm on 3 Mourner. This card can still be used under Shifter, which is the God card in this deck. 3 Ash, same thing, and then 3 Imperm. So these 12 hand traps are always playable. And then 3 Veiler, which obviously conflicts, but it's still a very good card. It's really bad in the mirror match because the field spell prevents it. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. You can still use it really well against, like, Snake Eyes and stuff like that. But yeah, it has a lot of other bad matchups like Labyrinth and Runic Stun, which would probably be, like, these 2 decks' worst nightmare. Because they can either Floodgate you out to death or, like, D-Barrier, search it, and that's really bad. And that's the reason why we're kind of seeing, like, an influx of Labyrinth players, you know, at the moment. Especially since we saw Jesse, you know, get top 32 at YCS Rio with Lab. You know, it's definitely putting the deck on map right now. But anyways, 15 hand traps, 3 Fenrir. And then for the Tenpai Dragon lineup, it's really obvious. So 3 Hydra, 3 Chundra, and then 2 Fadra. 1 Terraforming with 3 field spells. So maxing out on the consistency because we're also playing 3 Prosperity. You could also go with 3 Desires if you want to. I know Chris Urena did that. And then 3 Kaiman, another consistency card, 2 Lightning Storm. You can replace that with like Call by the Grave and Duster if you want to or something. Or just Call by the Grave and another one of or something. Or like a Desires or a Bestial Machnamut, that would also work. And then Rivalry, which again, you could also replace these 3 cards with like 3 Ogre. That also works fine. For the extra deck, we're on 1 Sengenpai Transcendent Dragion. I really don't care about this card's name, but yeah, the level 10 Tenpai Dragon monster. It doesn't even have Tenpai in its name. Okay, Sangenpai. Whatever. Alright, Trident Dragion, if you can afford it. If you can't, first of all, welcome to my life. You're broke. And also, it's not the end of the world. Who cares? 2 Sangenpai Bident Dragon. There you go. That's the one I know because, you know, it's it's interesting name, right? Bident Dragion, Kek W. 1 Black Rose Dragon, which you'll probably summon once every 27 years. No, just kidding. This is actually one of the better cards in the extra deck. Samurai Destroyer for you, Bell, and all that bullshit. And we also have the Time Lord Progenerator Vorp Gate. A really interesting thing about this, right? I know I skipped like a bunch of cards, but it's fine. I'm gonna come back to them. The cool thing about Time Lord Progenitor, yes, is that it's a level 10 monster, right? You just summon it and then you battle over your opponent's like full board. And then at the end phase, all those monsters, you have to special summon all of them back. But if you, I don't know, if you use the effect of like the Bident Dragon to revive back something from the grave, then you are locked under only being able to special summon dragon monsters. So in other words, you are banishing everything and then you're not summoning anything back on the end phase. So that's a really nice way of clearing boards when you know for a fact that you can't OTK. So it's really nice against Ubel, for example. Now the Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon is there for the mirror match. And the Clear Wing is here for, I don't know, a bunch of things. Like, it's really good against Kashtira, actually. They use a bunch of their effects. You just go negate, whatever. Yeah, it's just a card that can use its effect twice in one turn, so that's kind of neat. And then obviously Hieratic Seal, which is the best Link monster that I can think of. This is like a ridiculous card. It should definitely get banned. It's not as good as IP Masquerena, to be fair. They're on like the same level of degeneracy. If your deck can play Hieratic Seal, it's insane. So yeah, that's another reason why I want to say that this deck is just like really good going first. It really reminds me of like Dragon Link. Like, you're not trying to make like a huge board, you're really just trying to make Hieratic Seal with like a follow-up, and that's usually good. Hieratic Seal with hand traps, you feel really confident because they have to play into your Heretic Seal eventually. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, battle phase, attack over, that's fine. You can just go like Fedora, revive back a monster, and then quick sync. And then you also not only get rid of their battle phase, you get rid of their monster, but also you summon like a level 7 on their turn. It's just annoying, right? It's just so much to have to deal with. So it's just, yeah, this card's too good. It really is. So many monsters that you can summon with this card. Like even the Magnamut for the follow-up, the world is your oyster. Double Mirror Jade because you can fuse for this card twice. And you can also shuffle back the Heretic Seal, by the way, with Lubalion. So that's also something to keep in mind. But yeah, the reason why you can summon Mirror Jade twice is because the first Mirror Jade sends the Rinbrum. And then Rinbrum revives back the Fallen of Albaz again next turn so that you can fuse again for another Mirror Jade. And then you're usually gonna have like another card to send for the Mirror Jade. So yeah, it's a lot of value off of one single card, and it makes you like just invincible in a grind game. And for the side deck, I mean, this is like very interchangeable, but like 1 Magnamut, double Nibiru, triple Ogre for their mirror match, and then 3 Cosmic and 3 Unending for this deck's worst matchup, which would be Runic Stun. It's terrible. It's really bad. Like, this deck cannot beat Runic Stun. You cannot OTK them whatsoever, and your hand traps aren't really good. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, draw 2 Veiler, and then they go, like, Hugin on draw phase? Ew, that's not really nice. And then 3D Barrier, right, for the mirror, and also for Runic Stun, and for quite literally everything else, like also Purely and stuff like that. Please do not play Heatwave. That card is garbage. It is absolute cheeks. Dimension Shifter is always better because if you're going first and you got something like Shifter, again, all you really need is just like Heretic Seal Pass. You can go like Fenrir Seal, Shifter, and that's like absolute Exodia. And Shifter is even better when you're going first because it means that you are going to unshifter yourself before your opponent. First action, Shifter, and then play the game. You're also immune to Ogre, by the way, because Ogre has to send itself to the graveyard. Same thing with Veiler and Droll. And then you can just make like a good enough board, but really focus on the follow-up, and then next turn you kill because your opponent is going to be under Shifter, but like on turn 3, so on your second turn, you are no longer under this card's annoying drawback. So yeah, it's very disgusting and very cancerous. So you have to take advantage of that and abuse the system. But yeah, that's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about Tenpai Dragon, especially if you're trying to go first with this deck in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.